2030. That is one of the most important numbers of all time in Major League Baseball. It was a record held from 1939 to 1995 by this man. His name was Lou Gehrig, and he is such a large figure in American society and baseball that his greatest nemesis, ALS, is colloquially known as the Lou Gehrig's disease. His record has been considered as one of the most important records of U.S. sports history. His 2030 consecutive games played has been exceeded by only one man. This man is Cal Ripken Jr., and he exceeded the Gehrig standard 2030 record. He was a lifelong Baltimore Oriole, as his father, Cal Ripken, served throughout the ranks of the Baltimore Orioles, managing and playing at all levels of Major League Baseball. Cal Ripken Jr., with his status as a lifelong Baltimore Oriole, is not an exact replica of the American dream, but in many ways, he was. The American dream was focused on the act of children surpassing the acts of the parents. In this way, Cal Ripken Jr. was the definition of the American dream. He was provided with the environment growing up in the Orioles organization to learn and to expand into the field of baseball. And from this, he used hard work and dedication to surpass his father's achievements. At 21, he was the American League Rookie of the Year. At 25, he won a World Series title. By age 27, he had played 8,243 consecutive innings, or 5 years, without missing a single inning of play. With this shorter and less recognized streak of consecutive innings, it becomes clear that Cal Ripken Jr. was the workhorse of the Baltimore Orioles, and with this record, he became the face of the Baltimore Orioles for the 1980s and 1990s. Many referred to Cal Ripken Jr. as Iron Man, and physically he was during his playing days. This physicalness helped him get through the adversity he faced during his streak, which included a hyperextended left elbow, blown right ankle, partially torn ligament from a fight that is famously known as the Brawl, and an entire season played without feeling in his throwing arm. On this and his many other injuries, he stresses that I concentrated better and played better while being injured. Also, on the field, he and the Baltimore Orioles suffered for a feat that hasn't been surpassed: 0-21. The Baltimore Orioles lost their first 21 games of the 1988 season, and this record, even though it is a bad record, has not been surpassed. It wasn't until the early 1990s that his streak began to gain real media attention. The Sports Illustrated cover piece with the title "Non-Stop Shortstop," the attention to Ripken's ongoing streak came to national attention for the first time. With this, he began to gain celebrity. From there, newspapers from across the country began to cover the streak as it came to be known. By 1993, Ripken had a reporter dedicated to the streak from the Washington Post and Chicago Tribune, famous newspapers. But most importantly, as he approached the 2030 game record of Lou Gehrig, he maintained his typical attitude to the game. This attitude to the game was built around hard work and dedication, and constantly improving and focusing on the words of his father: practice perfect, don't practice. But this constant improvement in this perfect practice did not matter in 1994. The 1994 season was forced to an early conclusion by the Players' Union strike. In 1994, the World Series wasn't held, and negotiations had not been successful until February of 1995 to end the union strike. Many players actively credited Cal Ripken Jr.'s streak as a motivator that helped end the strike. This was due to the threat by MLB to play in 1995 replacement players to fill the roster spots. If this has happened, then the Players' Union would face a second record loss after already losing the chance at Tony Gwynn and a 400 hitting batting average season in 1994. If those replacement games had been counted towards official records, then the streak would be lost. After this strike, things changed as players gained rights, but the biggest change was that many baseball fans had removed themselves from the sport and failed to see it as the pure game that they once did. Cal Ripken and the streak were key to helping bring back fans to the sport, and the streak were on the national sporting conscience in 1995. The press followed him everywhere. He had to hold press conferences after each game to accommodate the 2 dozen or so journalists that had been assigned to learn everything that there was to know about him. There even were reports that the media had at one point picketed his home in Maryland until the Baltimore Orioles organization threatened to revoke the media's access to Ripken. With the streak came a level of fame that no Oriole had ever achieved before. After games on numerous occasions, Ripken was known to stay for close to an hour meeting with fans and signing autographs. From this, due to his fame, rumors spread during the season, and many fans leading up to the record-breaking 2031 game attempted to gain access to him, including a pair of fans that went on the field between innings at Camden Yards, the stadium of the Baltimore Orioles. Cal Ripken Jr. was set to achieve extraordinary feat on May 30th, 1995. In the lead up to this, Cal Ripken Jr. hit just under 300 and the Baltimore Orioles were in contention for the divisional lead. He would go on to, on May 30th, 1995, surpass Lou Gehrig, and the streak would continue to 2,632 games. During this time period, the Baltimore Oriole organization continued to put up banners giving the numbers on the Camden wall, declaring the number of games consecutively played by Cal Ripken. And this banner would not be lowered until Cal Ripken played his final game in his consecutive game at 2,632. In this time, to reach 2,632 games, he would play through an additional broken hand injury for the second half of the 1996 season. And this injury, thanks to it being right as All-Star break came around, he was able to recover enough to finish the season. With his fame, he experienced ups and downs from media attention off the field to keeping himself emotionless on the field. Many in the media after he reached his 2,031 games played consecutively suggested that he changed and that he had. They brought up instances like in 1997 when he was ejected after the first 2 innings. But this was only his 3rd career ejection, and this construction of a temper issue in Cal Ripken Jr. was not brought forward correctly. Also, he was able to use his fame afterwards to build pathways through youth baseball to bring more players into baseball through his Cal Ripken League and the Cal Ripken World Series that is held every year. He is considered to be an extraordinary baseball player and, above all, a man with a great work ethic. From this work ethic, many credit him as the true successor to Lou Gehrig, and while he does not deny it, he does not accept that it is him who is Lou Gehrig's successor, as he feels he is a different man. In total, Cal Ripken Jr.'s rise to fame through the streak was maintained by his humble standards and his constant hard work and effort to make himself a better athlete. And this is why his streak will probably not be surpassed, as he displayed grit throughout the 2,632 games, and he constantly improved, which allowed his manager to to continue to put him in the game, no matter what.